Welcome back to Cool Club's headquarters. We're here with CEO and founder of Cool Clubs, Mark Timms, and we have got Gavin, founder of Accra. This segment is going to be about the Toursy RPG product.
Yes.
Go.
Go. The RPG has always been our premium offering into the market. It's made in our Japanese factory. Uses materials from Torii in Japan. We use the best materials available. In this case, in both these shafts, we use a quad weave, super light, ultralight quad weave that's from the aerospace industry. The idea is to add strength but not add weight. It allows us to make several different weights in these products. We also have two different sort of offerings within the RPG line. The RPG Tour, which really was spurned from the PGA Tour, designed to be a low-launching, low-spinning monster shaft. The predecessor to this actually won the U.S. Open a number of years ago. This is actually the latest version, the RPG Tour. It's got a really cold gold PVD finish on the bottom section, which really stands out. It's really cool. But the idea is we actually wanted to even the player that was using this shaft when they won the U.S. Open used to tip the original RPG 472 2.5 inches. So we actually took that design and we actually added about 12, 13 cycles to the new design so that person wouldn't have to tip it so much. But it's designed for that guy that really swings hard. And we're now introducing actually an M4 or a stiff flex to this line.
So the Tour is really the low launching animal for Tour.
Yeah, it is our lowest launching, lowest spinning shaft we have, and it's designed to be that. Again, for a mass market, it's not so much there, but for that strong player, it is the ultimate fitting shaft.
People can get an awareness of that when they're looking at flex. They're all plus.
We call it M5 Plus because that's exactly what it is. It's I mean, as a 46-inch blank, I think it's around 295 CPMs. It's up there.
Yeah.
We're normally with our shafts, it's somewhere around 285, 280 kind of thing would be our extra stiff.
Well, let's just touch on the other one, not the Tour, but on this one. So this comes in two models, which you were just explaining to me earlier. One with a low bounce point, one high. So explain why you did that.
So the concept of this is to make this more for the everyday golfer, but everything Accra does is about club fitting, and we're always thinking of how we can influence the club fitting world and help you guys out, give fitters more ammunition to deal with. And in this particular product, we really just kind of wanted to select one specification of a shaft and highlight that. And in this case, I looked at balance point. Balance point, a couple of years ago, we were kind of getting into this whole trendy thing of people wanting high balance point, low balance point shafts. And the one thing I looked at in the market, including our shafts, was that when we took a good shaft and we decided we wanted to make a CB, a counterbalance version of it, it changed a lot of specs. All of a sudden, the tip became softer, the butt became stiffer because you're adding material to the butt to make it a higher balance point. The tip became softer, the torque sometimes went up. And it's like, well, why can't we, with graphite, we have this great ability to be able to use different materials and lay them in different directions so we can actually add weight to a section and keep it the same flex or same strength in that section as something that's got a thinner wall. Gotcha. So we kind of looked at it and said, let's create a shaft that is identical. All the specifications, frequency, EI curve, torque, profile, across the board from top to bottom, make them the same but have two significantly different balance points. So we developed one, the lower balance point. This is called the VBP line, variable balance point. So we make a low balance point, an LBP, and a high balance point, HBP.
And that's just determined on basically which head you're putting on it and how heavy you want the swing weight, right? So, for instance, we have this in fittings all the time. So if you're fitting, Ping in general had, for years they use a lot of counterbalance stuff, so their heads are heavy. So you'd put the high balance points, one kind of counteract that in this. Yeah. And Callaway tends to have lighter heads, or this changes year to year, obviously. But overall, that's what happened a couple of years ago, especially. So you can put the low balance point one on the Callaway and the high balance point on the other one. Get the same swing weight,
and nothing
same
else
feel,
changing.
Everything else the same, and to compare apples to apples, even though they're entirely different heads.
Exactly. That's the concept of this. You go from 23.5-inch balance point on the low balance point to a 25-inch balance point. So it's an inch and a half difference, which is a significant amount.
That's a lot, yeah.
And yet nothing else changes.
I changed the swing weight of 45 inches, approximately 3 probably.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot for just a shaft without adding any extra counterbalancing or things like that.
So about 2 inches of shift of balance point will give you about 3 swing weights.
But that
approximately depends how long too. Iron's obviously shorter.
So it opens up
another
it does change. kind of cool thing that you could do with it. I know we've been capped now at 46 inches with drivers, but if you're going to play a guy who wants a really long driver, you give him a high balance point so it doesn't feel like a sledgehammer.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and one other thing we also looked at for this is from a build perspective, you could do all sorts of crazy things. So when you're fitting somebody to a driver, you can take a high balance point shaft, use a fairly lightweight head, but you guys have the ability to add weight to the head. Not every club fitter has. Yeah. So now you can create a driver, and we see this on tour all the time, where a lot of players use high balance point shafts, and yet they like D5, D6 swing weights. This happens an awful lot on tour, and not necessarily with the average golfer going up to D6, but even a D2, D3 with a high balance point shaft isn't that easy to achieve. But if you add weight to the head to get back up to a D2, D3, you're actually changing the profile of the shaft, or the profile of the club.
Right.
Because now you've got a heavier weight, the person's going to feel the head more. And they may like that.
Yeah.
And so it gives you options you didn't have before.
I happen to like heavy swing weights, and I like light shafts with heavy swing weights. And I do play longer, so it's not a big deal, but irons and stuff.
So it just gives you so many options that you don't have normally, because normally when you go to that counterbalance shaft, you're just changing everything.
Right.
And now you're not. So it gives fitters really something to work with they've never had before. And that's what this shaft's all about. It's been really, really successful for us. High balance point's probably a little more popular than the low balance point, just because it tends to be a trendy thing these days.
Yeah.
But certainly more and more so, we're seeing, on fitting walls, you see a 52, a 62, and a 72 gram in both up there. Yeah. And so it gives you that options from fitting that no one's ever had before.
Just give us a quick ball flight of, I know they're both the same ball flight in that, but that's a mid ball flight?
Yeah, it's fairly mid. I would say as you get into the heavier weights, it probably drops down a little bit to more of a mid-low. But generally, we classify.
So this is a shaft for everybody, and not the tour one so much, but for everybody. You can different weights, and you get.
The 52 grams. obviously is for any level.
Let's bring up another company. This is your Blue Board, sort of a premium version. So it's kind of a mid.
Never heard of a Blue Board.
Right, figure that would happen. But it's kind of a pretty standard profile that a lot of people are going to like.
Yeah, if anything, it's
a lot of people.
Yeah, if anything, it's a little softer in the butt section, stiffer in the tip section. Generally across the board, that would probably be the but not quite as dramatic as our TZ5 or something like that. It's I think on the S3, it's somewhere around about 30 in the tip section and about 80 in the butt section. So it gives you kind of an idea.
Yeah. And I know the Tour is a much stronger product, but
yeah, it's like 120 in the butt section and 34, 35 in the tip section. So it's a beast.
It's a beast.
It's designed to be a beast. The M4 will be more playable for more players. The M4 Plus, and that's just coming out now. So that'll give more options for the Tour, because the Tour looks really cool. And this one here, the RPG, the one way we designate the two different balance points is the band.
Yeah, that's
that goes on the bottom. Yeah. It's a lower band on the low balance point, a higher band on the high balance point. Yeah. So
you just pointed that out, and I could never remember which one's which, and now I can. I know where to look.
Keep you in the know, Mark.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Adam.
it.
Thanks.
See you next time.